What's going on, everybody? Welcome in, welcome in, welcome in. It's Real Sports Updates here. Back again. It's been a while. Been gone for a while. Got married. I had some other life events happening and stuff. So I was out of the YouTube game for a while, but I'm back now. Right in time for the Super Bowl. So we got the Super Bowl 50 matchup now. It's set. It's going to be Rams versus the Bengals. It's going to go down in 2 weeks from SoFi Stadium in Los Angeles. So um, definitely excited for that. It's definitely the matchup that nobody, I don't think there's probably anybody, any sports book in America where that matchup got bet on. As I was looking over some stuff this morning, I think the Bengals had the third worst odds in the season to make the Super Bowl. Um, I think they were above Detroit and I don't whatever other. I think Detroit and the Texans. So they had the third worst odds, and they're here. They're here in the Super Bowl against all odds. Um, obviously they're led by their quarterback Joe Burrow. He's had a fantastic season, fantastic playoff run. But I think the Bengals are rounding into shape as a complete team. That defensive performance in the second half yesterday was very impressive. I think they really put it together. They played assignment based football, and they essentially shut Mahomes down. They made him question what he was doing. He looked confused out there, very unsure of himself. And it looked like he lost his confidence. And that's a weird thing to see in a game of that magnitude, especially considering the first half that he had. But the Bengals defense really did their job. They allowed Joe Burrow and the offense to do just enough to keep pressure on that Chiefs defense. They scored enough points, and they were able to really make plays in crunch time, in crucial points of the game. Those two Joe Burrow scrambles are the two plays that really come in my mind. He did his job there. He was able to pick up first downs, keep drives going, and eventually put points to the board. So I think everybody had to be shocked. I don't want to say shocked, surprised, but not shocked. Like I said, the Bengals have put it together as a team. Very, very impressed with that win yesterday. And uh, really impressed Rams victory. A win is a win, especially in the NFC Championship game. But I didn't think that they played as well as they could have. Matthew Stafford and the offense, they really I think they had a lot of opportunities to make big plays. I know there were some drop passes. Cooper Cup, I think he dropped a big ball. I think Jefferson dropped a big ball too. And Matthew Stafford, he had a pick. Should have had another pick by Jaquaski Tart, but he dropped it, and that could have essentially won the game for the Niners. But the ball didn't bounce that way. But I was not impressed with the Rams victory. They did just enough. I thought the defensive line of the Rams, they really made their presence felt in that fourth quarter. Aaron Donald and Von Miller, they really came out, really balled. They put pressure on Jimmy G, and they put pressure on the Niners offense. It was a very sloppy game, for that magnitude. It was, I don't know. I don't know if either coach called that well of a game. Offensively, there were some plays that were being made by some players, but offensively, I just didn't think that it was a very clean game. I thought Kyle Shanahan was a little conservative on that 4th and 2 call. I would have went for it. You line your guys up. The Niners have one of the most complex and one of the best running games in football. So if 4th and 2 for essentially a trip to the Super Bowl, I'm gonna line up and go for it with whatever 5, 6 minutes left because if they make it and they do enough on offense, they could have ended the game right there and left the Rams with a minimal amount of time on the clock, to try to tie or take the lead. But obviously Kyle Shanahan didn't feel like his offense was going to make it, and he didn't want to take the chance, so he gave the ball back to the Rams, and they did what they did. But like I said, it wasn't a very impressive performance from the Rams. Going forward in the Super Bowl, I think the Rams are, a 3-point favorite right now at this point. We'll see how much that gets bet down or bet up the closer we get to kickoff. But I don't think that I don't think the Rams should be heavily favored. The Bengals seem to have the momentum right now. As of right now, it seems like they have the momentum. They're getting all the lucky breaks as well too. And nothing, not taking anything away from the Bengals, but you get Ryan Tannehill in the divisional round playing his worst game of the season, and then you get Patrick Mahomes in the championship game playing his worst game of the season. So I don't know if they can count on Matthew Stafford playing his worst game of the season in the Super Bowl, but they do have the momentum right now, and the ball seems to be bouncing their way, as opposed to whoever else they play. So they're really they really have caught fire, and I wouldn't be surprised if they started off kind of hot in the Super Bowl, but there's still some time. Still got 13 days left to the game, so it's going to be interesting, the storylines playing out. For the losing teams, the Chiefs were, I don't want to say that they were exposed, but I've done several videos on the Chiefs. I did one, in the midst of their struggle. I believe when they were blown out on that Sunday night game by the Bills. And I seen it there, man. The Chiefs were so up and down, and they were so Mahomes reliant, and I think that is essentially their issue. They're too reliant on Patrick Mahomes. They're too reliant on the second reaction plays that he makes, because when those are not there, this offense does not look the same. Cincinnati did a great job of shutting down the second reaction plays in the second half. He wasn't really able to scramble, out to either his left or right and make, these really wild, fantastic throws on the field. They really shut that down. So the offense looked very one-dimensional. And it seems like when they panic, when Kansas City panics, they rely strictly on Mahomes to make a bunch of plays. They don't run the ball in situations where it could probably benefit them. Jared McKinnon had a really good game yesterday. He was running hard in the first half. He was running hard in the second half as well too, but he just didn't get the ball as often as he should have. And I think ultimately that was part of the reason why the Chiefs lost that game yesterday. They were not balanced at all, especially when it came down to crunch time, when it was time to make a play. They had the ball, at the 5-yard line, first and goal from the 5-yard line with less than 2 minutes on the clock, and they were not able to punch it in. And they didn't even attempt a running play at that point either. It was just drop back, Mahomes run around. He was taking sacks in that area too, where he probably shouldn't have. He probably should have got rid of the ball. He was holding it for too long. The game almost ended in regulation on that fumble. When Sam Hubbard came, he came up the middle, and he put a lot of pressure on Mahomes, and he knocked the ball away. And luckily, I think Joe Tooney was there to fall on it. But that almost could have ended right there. Their season almost ended on the fumble. And, it's that carelessness that Mahomes has in his game a little bit. And I said it previously, I said it in week 5 or 6, whatever it was. You can't be sloppy like that. You cannot be sloppy like that and expect to go out there and win Super Bowls. just based off of talent. You have to be able to respect the game. You have to be able to play it the right way. And he's not a guy that seems to care much about that. Especially when it's time to make a play, it's time to, you know, kind of salt the game away. He's out there running around. He's reckless with the ball. He's switching the ball back and forth from his right hand to his left hand, and somebody knocks it free, and it's just like, you have to be able to shore everything up. It's not time for showboating. It's not time to be fancy. It's not time for any of that stuff. It's time to win the game, and it's time to go out there and play safe football, very safe football. Be yourself, but also be safe about the choices that you make with the ball in your hands as well. So his recklessness, pretty much lost him the game, and then the interception in overtime, it was the interception, the second interception. The first interception was dropped by Eli Apple, and he almost had it, and he almost sealed the game up. But I think the Chiefs were a little bit too relaxed in that staff. You can tell just watching them play. If you watch any amount of football, for any amount of time, you can tell that they have that. They kind of have that cockiness to them, and there's a lot of positives to playing like that and to carrying yourself that way. But when you're in a tight game, you have to tighten up. You kind of have to right the ship. You got to back to what you know. Go back to fundamentals. Good decision making. At quarterback, ball security. You're a receiver. You got into the sticks. You have to run past the sticks to get first down. You can't run in front of them or whatever. And you just have to be able to shore things up and play really, really good situational football. And the Chiefs didn't do that. And it's honestly, as I think about it more, it's not surprising that they don't do that, because they're never really forced to play great situational football. Teams normally play them very very, like, I don't want to say loose, but teams kind of have an unhealthy respect for their explosiveness on offense. So there's that they either play too conservative against them, or they play too aggressively against them. I'll Brandon Staley, the Chargers on that Thursday night game. So I think they're not really forced to play good football throughout, the 60-minute duration of the game. There's always a team that fears them, so they're going to get conservative. They're going to see really conservative defenses. They're going to see really aggressive defenses, and there's never really a team that plays conservatively, both on the back end, but also bringing pressure and trying to confuse Mahomes with different looks and all that stuff. The last team that really did that successfully was last year at Super Bowl with the Bucks. So the Bengals really, really did a good job. Their defensive coordinator deserves a lot of credit. They were getting shredded in the first half, but they came out, they switched covers up. They brought a little more physicality from the back end. I seen a lot of the corners were coming up and kind of playing a little bump and run, kind of getting hands on the receivers, trying to reroute them and trying to be physical, and it worked. The Chiefs' offense is primarily, just the Andy Reid offense is primarily it's a timing based offense. There's the receivers, tight ends are working on the ball. They're able to, especially when they're playing against off coverage. He's able to complete passes and get these guys all right. When it needs to be thrown. But the Bengals kind of threw that off a little bit yesterday, and he was a little bit flustered. And I think the pressure got to him too. This is a very this was a havoc year for Kansas City. When you talk about their cap situation, with their draft situation as well too. They've done a solid job in the draft. They haven't really they haven't really drafted like any superstars to speak of, especially defensively. But I mean, they've drafted starters and guys who are pretty serviceable, but they're not a team that's going to draft a whole bunch of you know guys who are just going to come in and just be ready to play right off the bat. Go to a bunch of Pro Bowls and stuff like that. Um, they really don't do that very well. So this being the guy to have a year for Kansas City was, I thought this game was very crucial because I thought if they got to a Super Bowl this season, they were going to win it. But it's kind of up in the air going forward for several reasons. There's a lot of talent in the AFC at quarterback. A lot of talent at quarterback in the AFC, just as it is now. Especially the young talents. We see Joe Burrow. We seen Joe Burrow. We seen what he was doing. We seen Justin Herbert. He's beat the Chiefs before. We seen what Josh Allen did to the Chiefs. And that's just how it is now. Like if Deshaun Watson comes back, if he gets his legal stuff cleared up and he comes back and he joins the Dolphins, that's another guy you got to worry about. And then obviously with all the rumors about the Aaron Rodgers trade, if he joins the Denver Broncos, then he is in the AFC West, so he's in the same division. So that's another guy you worry about. So I think that is the big reason that this was a got to have a game, a got to have a year for the Chiefs. Also next year as well too. Patrick Mahomes, that mega extension that he signed a couple years ago, that kicks next year. So the Chiefs are going to have some decisions to make for some of the defensive players. I believe Mahomes' cap hit was around almost $8 million or something like that this year. His cap hit next year goes to like 35 or 36 million. So that's a huge jump. There's going to be some guys on that team who are not going to be able to continue on as Chiefs, unless they take a huge major pay cut, and I don't see that happening. You look at a Chris Jones, you look at a Tyrann Mathieu. Some of these guys are going to have to, either restructure and try to stay there and try to continue winning, or they're gonna have to go somewhere else and try to sign bigger deals to compensate for some of that money that they're going to lose with the Chiefs. So this was a really big season, and I don't see a lot of people talking about that. I think people are just looking at the fact that Patrick Mahomes is 26 years old. And yes, he's 26 years old, and you can say whatever you want. Yeah, he's young and he's already got a Super Bowl. He's been 26, whatever. A lot of people don't realize that in 2010, Aaron Rodgers won the Super Bowl that year, and he was 26 years old. So I don't think that a lot of people really understand what it takes to continually get to Super Bowls and continually win them. That's why it makes what Tom Brady has done like just out of this world, extraordinary, and something that definitely won't be repeated again. I don't, at least in my lifetime, I don't think I will be able to see that again. But people need to understand that it's just not a given that you're going to get to the Super Bowl. This is a hard salary cap league. There's not a lot of wiggle room as far as roster and how much guys are getting paid and all that stuff. You can kind of finagle stuff and move money around as much as you can to create little cap space here and there, but it's not a big it's not gonna have a big impact like it does in the NBA. So once you hit that hard cap, you hit that hard cap. So we'll see what happens going forward. But I thought that this was a really big year for Kansas City. And I thought that they should have capitalized on it, and they should have capitalized on how weak this playoff field was for the AFC. If I felt like if they got past Buffalo, then it was going to be easy sledding to the Super Bowl. But obviously the Bengals didn't let that happen. So like I said, you gotta credit them, but they made it happen. So I'm I'm excited to see them in the Super Bowl. I'm excited to see what they do. But yeah, man, if you're a Kansas City Chiefs fan, you gotta be disappointed because this is not. It's only gonna get harder from here on out, and it's only gonna get the moments are only going to get more pressurized for Mahomes as well too. He's going to be making all this money, and he's going to be losing guys every single season. There's going to be a guy that's got to go every single season because of the structure of the salary cap and how much money he's getting paid and how much of the big percentage of salary cap that just his contract is eating up. So. We'll see what happens. It's going to be very interesting. I can't wait to see what happens with that, with the Chiefs going down the road. And hopefully it's not good. That'd be great for my Chargers. So, it's been very fruitful these past 4 seasons, but I think change is definitely in the water for them. I don't think they're going to fall off the face of the planet. I think they're still going to be a good team, but I don't think that they are going to be operating at, such a high level going forward, especially for the foreseeable future with all of the quarterback talent. And, it's going to be tough sledding, but, like I said, hopefully it's good for my Chargers and hopefully we can get some success in the AFC West as well, too. Let's talk about the Niners. The 49ers I think they are probably the team that's not in the Super Bowl, the best complete team. They really, they play hard, man. They're limited at quarterback. I think Jimmy Garoppolo I think he's gone. I think he played his last down as a 49er. He's not a bad quarterback at all. He's not a bad player. I think he's there. I just don't think he is the guy that offers the Niners that extra boost that they need to win a game like they played in yesterday. The quarterback that's going to, and he doesn't have to be Lamar Jackson or Kyler Murray. He doesn't have to be the dynamic athlete. He doesn't have to be, he doesn't even have to be a Herbert or Burrow or Allen. He doesn't have to have these really, fantastic physical tools or whatever. I think the Niners need a quarterback who can deliver the ball, on these crucial third downs. I think they need a guy who can make all the throws. And listen, I know Jimmy's good. His if you watch the game just from a quarterback standpoint yesterday, both quarterbacks, Jimmy and Matt Stafford, they both really didn't have great games. But there were moments in the game where Matthew Stafford, you see his talent and you see why he was a number 1 draft pick in 2009. You see why the Rams went all in and traded for him. There's moments in the game where you're like, man, look at this throw. This is crazy. And he made, I think, 2 or 3 of those yesterday. I know it was one on that touchdown to Cooper Kupp. He put the ball exactly where it needed to be for Kupp to get both feet down and be able to score that touchdown. But it wasn't just a lofted up throw. He had to put some mustard on it. And I think he threw it from the middle of the field too, all the way to the outside of the end zone. The back end of the end zone where the pylon is. He really threw it. He put some mustard on it and he got it there. Like it was one of the better throws, I think, of the weekend. I was very, very impressed. And I can't remember what the other throw was, but it's obvious the talent that he has. And when you're looking at that, and when you're just looking at it from just, like I said, a quarterback standpoint, you look at the Rams last year, and you picture Jared Goff in that spot, and you know that Jared Goff can't make a throw like that. And if he does try to make a throw like that, it's probably going to be intercepted, or it's probably not going to be online. Then it's going to be inaccurate to some degree. So you look at Matt Stafford, and you look at these throws that he can make, and you look at the eyes, and it is really the great equalizer. He's had some stinkers this season. He's had some very good games, but he's also had some stinkers. Where he gets in trouble with the interceptions, taking chances and running the double and triple coverage and doing all that Matt Stafford stuff that he's known for doing. But when you have a team like the Rams, the way that it's constructed, when you have a coach like Sean McVay, the way that he coaches and the way that he trusts Matt Stafford, the way that he has installed so much confidence in him, in just his first season here, he really does. He really does. He gives the Rams that added element that wasn't there with Jared Goff, and I think that he is not. He's not the best quarterback in the league. He was a fringe MVP candidate for maybe half the season until he started with his turnover streaks. But I think he is a guy who, if the game comes down to it, and if it's time to, go on a 60-yard drive to win the game, or if it comes down to 50 seconds left, 1 or 2 timeouts left, Matt Stafford can make those throws down the field that a lot of other quarterbacks cannot make. Specifically, Jimmy G, he can't make those throws that Matt Stafford does. And I think the Niners, that's all they're missing. That's really all they're missing. And I know that they're hopeful that Trey Lance is going to be that guy. But we haven't seen Trey Lance play a whole lot. We haven't seen him play, a good portion of the season. So we don't know. We really don't have anything to go off of. He's done some, he's come in for some of his personalized packages where Kyle will throw him in and, they'll run the trick play. But that's about it. We haven't seen him command the huddle. We haven't seen him, make adjustments at the line of scrimmage and be able to, show that he has a grasp of this very complex Kyle Shanahan offense. So we haven't seen that yet. We haven't seen it from him. I know the Niner fans are hoping that he'll be it. He's a talented kid. He seems like he works hard. His throwing motion is a little weird. He has a hitch in it. I think he has to work with one of these quarterback gurus to get that hitch out of his motion. It's a little. Who does it remind me of? I had somebody in my head who it reminded me of, but I can't remember. But it's very hitchy. It's kind of slow and very deliberate. You want that quarterback to get the ball out of his hands fast, especially in that Shanahan offense where there is, there's so much motion going on, and there's a lot of different timing routes. So he's gonna have to, be able to, plant his back foot and be able to get rid of the ball, very quickly. So I think he's gonna have to work with the quarterback coach this offseason to kind of get his motion and get his mechanics refined. We'll see about that. We'll see if he does. Hopefully he does, because his motion now doesn't look very economical. I know I watched a little bit of him in the preseason, and he was getting balls batted down because I think his release point was way too low, and it it's like eye level with the defensive linemen, so they're able to get their hands up and knock the balls down. So we'll see what happens with him going forward. Hopefully he is what the Niners are looking for. He's definitely got a big arm. He can make all those throws. All the throws that Jimmy can't make, he can definitely make them. But all that's missing from him is that seasoning. He needs that seasoning. He needs to go out there, be presented with different defenses. Very, very. He needs to be presented with these complex defenses. He needs to get looks at them, so that way he's able to put that in his mental Rolodex. So he's able to know what to do. If he's seeing that type of defense in a playoff scenario, or even in a big game, a big Sunday night game, big state game, or something like that. He needs that seasoning. He needs to just go out there and play and just get reps. And it might be ugly at first, but he's gonna have to go out there and prove himself. So they didn't draft him. They didn't trade him in the draft to draft him, for him to do nothing. So we'll see what happens with him. Hopefully everything works out, and if you're a Niner fan, you hope everything works out as well too. I think Jimmy has played his last down with the 49ers. So, but we'll see going forward. I'm looking forward to this matchup, the Super Bowl matchup with the Bengals and the Rams. It's very intriguing. There's a lot of different storylines there. Odell Beckham, from him going, being in Cleveland to, for him, just looking like he's going through the motions, not having any energy, to now, he's Mr. Energy in LA now, and he played a big role, and he helped them win a big game last night. But there's a lot of different storylines. I seen Aaron Donald. He was rallying the guys last night to go out there and get some defensive stops. There's a Stafford, there's a McVay. It's the coaching storyline. Zach Taylor was under McVay for a while. Both these guys are under 40, so it's like the youngest Super Bowl head coaching matchup ever. There's just a lot of different stories. The Joe Burrow stuff, the Jamar Chase, everybody. There's a lot of different storylines. So I think it's going to be a very, very good week for the media, definitely NFL media. There's a lot of stuff to cover. The Rams are playing in their home stadium. There's a lot of things that have their own like separate storylines away from the game. So I think it's gonna be a good 2 weeks. I can't wait to watch the coverage and take in all these stories, and I'll be talking about it more as the week goes on. The 2 weeks goes on. Then I'll be giving picks probably a day before the game. Because I'm still excited. I still don't know who's going to win yet either. But we'll see as time goes forward. And hopefully the Bengals can get back their tight end, Uzama, I think his name was. I think he got hurt early in the game, in the first quarter, I believe. So, but they said he didn't do any structural damage, and it wasn't anything serious. So we'll see. Hopefully he's able to play in the Super Bowl. I know that's every kid's dream to play in the Super Bowl. So hopefully he gets back, and hopefully he's healthy enough to give it a go. But yeah, man, like I said, a lot of storylines. It's gonna be very interesting. Just to recap, a very, very entertaining championship Sunday in the NFL. This was the last Sunday of the season where we have more than one game. So we got one more game, and then we gotta wait for another 6 months for some football. So gonna cover this, and I'll probably be back tomorrow to live stream again. I need to talk about the Lakers. Definitely want to talk about the Lakers. How sorry they are. They suck, and let's just put it that way. The Lakers suck, and we'll talk about it tomorrow. But thank you guys. Hope you guys have a good night, and I'll see you later.